Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Ceci K. Can I ask you for a little favor? If this is your first time here or if you've been watching this channel without subscribing, can you do me a favor to subscribe to this channel? It will help me bring you more videos. Thank you so much. In this video, I'll be talking about why you have been attracting toxic, entitled people. Now, this is based on my personal experience as well as the experience of other people that I've interacted with, and of course the little research that I've done for myself, and I'm here to give it to you so that you don't have to go and do a research for yourself. I've used toxicity as well as entitlement in one sentence. I do understand that toxic people can also be entitled, but I also understand that being entitled doesn't necessarily make somebody toxic. However, both can be emotional, manipulative, they can be energy draining, they can cause stress, they can cause unhappiness, they can also cause personal suffering. That's why I'm putting them in one basket. Have you ever sat down and maybe just looked back at your life and the people you have been in the midst of, or even the people around you, your circle of friends, and you wonder why they are all the same, why they are all possessing the same characters? Like, you realize that that person also was like this person, but maybe at the time you didn't realize, and then you wonder, why is it that I'm always in the midst of this kind of people? So you wonder why these people are always drawn towards you, and you ask yourself, is it me that's always finding myself in the midst of these people? Or is there something about me that's attracting them? You meet new people, and then later on you realize that they also have some unpleasant behavior, some toxic behavior, and you wonder, why is it that I'm always in the midst of this kind of people? This could be romantic relationships, this could be friendships, this could be family. You just realize that it's always those family members that are toxic, that are drawn towards you. It's like honey and bees. Honey attract bees. So you're probably also just attracting this kind of people, and you're wondering, is it me? Is there something wrong with me? Now, I want to make something clear, and I want to let you know that you don't have to blame yourself. You don't have to beat yourself up for attracting this kind of people. It's not your fault that these people are the way they are. It's not your fault that they're very unkind. It's not your fault that they're very unpleasant. It's not your fault, that they're toxic and entitled. So they have had some negative childhood experiences, some trauma experiences that they can't come to terms with. They can't acknowledge. First of all, for change to happen, you have to acknowledge that something is a problem. But most toxic people do not acknowledge that there is a problem. They don't see a problem with their behavior. They don't see a problem with the nature of their character. So as such, they can't, work on it. They can't seek help because they don't think there's anything wrong with them. So it is not your fault. So you may feel guilty and wonder whether you are the enabler of this behavior. Is there something that I'm not doing right? How can I please these guys? What can I do for them? What am I doing wrong? You might be asking yourself, you might be constantly stressed, you might be constantly unhappy, beating yourself up, wondering, what exactly is it that I can do for these people so that they are happy? Because one thing you should know is that toxic people are also sadists. They're very sad human beings. And because they are very sad human beings, they try to project that on other people. Now, here is where you can start. First of all, you need to know what the characteristics of a toxic person is. Once you know the characteristics of a toxic person, it will then help you identify this kind of people and make sure that you keep a healthy distance, especially if they're people close to you or their relatives. You want to keep a healthy distance. You might not want to cut them off completely, but you want to keep a healthy distance or maintain boundaries. Or if you meet a person, you'd be able to recognize that this is not the kind of person I can be friends with. Or no, I can't be with this kind of person. So you stay away from them. That is only if you know what the characteristics of a toxic person is. Because if you don't, you might just think, oh, it's just a normal person that's probably just having a bad day. You think it's a bad day, and then the next day it's the same thing, because these are patterns of behavior. It's not just something that happens once and it's gone. It happens repeatedly. It's a pattern, you know. And if you've just met a person, you may not know. You might just think it's just the person is just having a bad day. Or maybe he's hurt. Or maybe there's something going on. Or maybe he needs help. But the more you get to know this person, the more you stay with this person, you realize it keeps on going on and on and on. And that is what makes it unpleasant. That's what makes it toxic. The first character that I'm going to look at is negativity. Toxic people are very negative people. They are whiners, they are complainers, they're just totally negative. Everything that they talk about is just negative. Their outlook on life is very negative. They speak negatively about everybody. Have you ever sat down with somebody that by the moment you left, you were stressed? These people might not have been, giving out on you. They're probably just talking to you in general. But then you leave that place, you are basically stressed. Like for toxic people, everybody is coming for them. Everybody is getting them. It's always about what other people are doing to them. They can never, realize what exactly or how exactly they're contributing to that problem, or how exactly they're contributing to that situation. It's always somebody trying to get them. It's always somebody trying to hate on them. It's always somebody talking about them. They don't realize what their problem is. And I feel like sometimes they can be delusional as well. The things they think about, they make assumptions, and they feel like everybody is talking about them, even when that person is not talking about them. So imagine having such a friend, or imagine having, such a spouse or a relative who is always just talking negatively about everything, complaining about everything. Believe me, you need a dose of positivity in your life, because you will end up being tensed. Like, have you ever just think about a situation where you were with a friend, a relative, or a spouse who is so negative, who is always complaining about every little kind of thing, who thinks everybody is just out to get them, who think everybody is just doing things to hurt them. In the mind of a toxic person, everybody should be perfect. Even simple mistakes, or even, everybody makes mistakes, but even simple mistakes are taken as hating, are taken as, oh my gosh, you're out here you hate me so much, why are you doing this to me? So they don't recognize that mistakes are bound to happen, and that everybody can make mistakes. It can be energy draining. You can feel sick, like just sitting around them. They also lack empathy, because they don't think from another person's perspective. They are not understanding. They don't feel what other people feel. It's always about them. It's always about how you made them feel, and not how they made you feel. I call them imperfect perfectionists, because they think they are perfect. Like I mentioned, any little mistake, they would complain. They are whiners. They judge. They criticize. Toxic people will judge you for the same thing they are doing. They will criticize you for the same thing that they are doing. It's okay for them to do it, but when you do it, it is a problem. It's like they are the only people that can make mistakes, and when they make mistakes, don't call them out. But if you just make that same mistake, it is a problem. It's always someone's fault with toxic people. They throw blames on everybody except themselves. Like I say, they are imperfect perfectionists. They use phrases like, if you didn't do this, I would have not done that. It's your fault. That's why I did what I did to you. So they are always finding someone to blame. Or instead of asking what happened, they would ask, who has done this? So in other words, they're looking for somebody that they can blame on everything. And also they can blame you for their own choices. They can make a choice and then tell you, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have done this. But it's their own choices. So in other words, they lack responsibility and they do not take accountability of their own choices or their own mistakes. They are also very manipulative, and everything with them is transactional. They're the best, charming, kindest, giving people you can ever meet. When you meet them, they want to give. But be careful, because whatever it is that they are going to give you, they're going to use it against you. They want people not to call them out when they do something wrong. They're going to trade whatever it is that they're giving you with your peace. And they want you to shut up. If you just talk, if you just defend yourself, from their bullying, if you just, try and correct them, they'll bring it up. They'll be like, look, I did this for you. I did that for you. So they'll be mentioning everything that they've done for you to make you feel guilty, so that you don't speak up, so that you don't, call them out, just for you to keep quiet. So in other words, when a toxic person gives you, they're not giving you because they genuinely care. They're not giving you because they genuinely want to give you. They're giving you and expecting your silence in exchange of that, expecting you to keep quiet every time it is that they talk. Don't question them. Don't tell them they're wrong. Don't tell them what they've done to you, because they will bring it up all the time. So in other words, it's like you're trading your peace with whatever it is that they're giving you. They want you to give without ceasing. They want you to give without expecting anything in return. Now, don't get me wrong. Giving without expectations is what a good person would do. But for toxic people, you'd be putting in your 100%. You'll be putting in your all, and they put in nothing. When you give to a good person, right, they will reciprocate. It may not be as much as you've given, but because they know that this person has helped me, or this person helps me, let me also try and help this person. But for the toxic people, all they do is take and never give back. They'll keep on taking, they'll keep on taking, they'll keep on drinking from your glass of water until there's absolutely nothing. In other words, they will suck you dry. They will suck you dry until you have nothing more left in you. That's why they are so entitled, because they feel like they are entitled to emotional support, they're entitled to physical support, they're entitled to even your financial support. They want you to keep on giving them, and if you don't give this, they become angry at you or they resent you for not doing that. I feel like every relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a family relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, there has to be reciprocation. Like, if somebody is putting in this, you should also put in whatever amount it is that you can. I'm not talking about finances. I'm talking about, emotional support. I'm talking about physical support and everything. So toxic people want you to be their everything. They want you to be their mothers. They want you to be their father. They want you to be their therapist. They want you to be their secretary. They want you to be their cook. They want you to be, their ATM for the guys. Yeah, they literally just want you to be everything to them. They're like babies, like 2-year-olds. You know how babies throw tantrums. So if you're not providing that, or if you just tell them I can't anymore, then they start throwing tantrums. And then you're not a good person, you're not good enough, they will start criticizing you, they'll start judging you for basically saying no. So the way 2-year-olds do not respect boundaries, and 2-year-olds are very selfish, like children when they're growing up, they're very selfish. That's the same way toxic people are. They're so entitled. This is mine. You are mine, you should give me, you should solve my problems. They are looking for problem solvers. They want you to solve their problems. They want you to do everything, absolutely everything for them, while they just sit down and do nothing. Or they want you to do literally even the tiniest things for them. if you don't do it, then you're not good enough. They start criticizing you. They start comparing you to other people. Other people's sisters are doing this and that. Or if it's your parents, other people's children are doing this. Other people's children are building houses for them. Other people's children are graduating. What are you doing? Other people's children are buying them expensive cars. They don't even look at circumstances, like your circumstances and other people's circumstances. They are very good at comparison and comparing people. Or if it's a spouse, other husbands are buying their wives this kind of cars. What kind of husband are you? Or other wives are doing this for their husbands. What kind of wife are you? So they like comparisons. And you can imagine such kind of people in your lives, whether it's your mom, whether it's your siblings, whether it's your spouse, like how it will make you feel. Because like I said, this is a pattern of behavior. It is not something that happens once. It is something that happens almost every day. The nagging, like 2-year-olds. It happens almost every day. Now imagine, living in such an environment. Imagine the stress, because now they want you to go all out for them, ignore your own needs, put them first. So imagine how exhausting that is. I feel like everybody at some point in their lives have met toxic people. If you haven't, then you're very lucky. And I hope this video helps so that you can create boundaries. And if you meet these kind of people, you'll be able to recognize them. It's a pattern. It's not just something that happens once. There are some people who are mean. There are some people who are rude, very unkind and unpleasant because of, stress and all that. It can make people do that. However, with these kind of people, it's something that happens repeatedly. And because, like I mentioned earlier on, they don't see what is wrong with them, so they don't seek help. They don't think it is necessary for them to change. Now, so we have all probably met 2, 3, or even more people. Like this video is especially if you keep on meeting this kind of people. Now here is why I think you and I keep on attracting this kind of toxic people. We have this honey and they are bees, and they keep on following us wherever we go. We meet them wherever we go. First of all, you're probably a very kind person. You're giving, very generous, and you're very honest. And toxic people want to be around kind people because they like to take advantage of your kindness. When they know you can't say no, when they know you are a very honest person, that's the kind of person that they want to rely on. They need to be around a person that is going to baby them, that's not going to tell them the truth. They need to be around a person that's not going to say no, because they like taking advantage of people's kindness. They want to use you as a stepping stone. They're not dumb. They're very smart, and they know what they're doing most of the times. So they know that with this kind of person, I can get away with anything without being questioned. With this kind of person, I can do anything I want without being questioned, because they are going to forgive me. Now, there has to be kindness with the boundaries. But if you're very kind, very nice, and you have no boundaries, you don't know how to say no, you become a target. Because these are the kind of people that they are looking for. You are the person that's going to help them, to get wherever it is that they want to go. You're going to be their stepping stone. It's like they're going to climb on top of you, use you, because they are users. Whether it's a friend, I'm sure as you're watching this, you can remember a friend who was only there for the benefits, for whatever it is that they're getting from you. They are there for what they are getting from you. They love you for what they are getting from you. And they need you at their own convenient time. But when you need them, they're usually not there. Another thing is that you probably have a savior or a fixer mentality. Like you're the kind of person that I can fix that. I can save you from yourself. Or something must be wrong with this person. Oh, have you ever found yourself Googling people's condition and saying, oh, maybe they have this problem, or maybe I can help them overcome this. You want to fix their problems. You want to take care of their problems. You want to solve their problems. You're this problem solver. You are the kind of person they are looking for. And when they meet you, they are not living. They are not living. Because who wants to leave somebody that wants to do everything for them? Somebody that forgets herself, himself, and start putting them first. Especially men. I feel like men would abandon their problems and, put these people first. Because you don't have boundaries. You don't say no. You can't hold them accountable. They want everyone or anyone that can take up their responsibilities and carry them at their back, and then you put them on top of the responsibility, carry everything by yourself. And because they lack empathy, they don't feel what you feel. They don't feel or they don't see how that affects you. If you're unable to do that, you have a problem, or you are the problem, so they'll start criticizing you. So if you have this mentality of I want to fix this, I want to fix this person, I want to build that person, I want to solve their problem, I'm going to save them from themselves, then that is why you're likely attracting toxic or entitled people. Some toxic people are lazy too, very lazy people. And that's why they need somebody that can do all these things for them. And when they meet a kind person, when they meet somebody that has a savior mentality, just by interacting with you, they're like, oh my gosh, I want to be friends with this person. Because, you're such a good person. They know you're a good person. They know perfectly well that you're a good person. And because you don't have boundaries, because you struggle to set boundaries, this is why they stick with you. But at the end of the day, because they are very selfish people, all they are doing is taking away from your life. They keep on taking away from your life. Psychology says that selfish people actually live longer than people who are not selfish. I'm not asking you to be selfish. All I'm asking you is to have boundaries and be able to say no when you can and stick to it. Because at the end of the day, what they're really doing is taking away from your life. You're constantly stressed. Chronic stress can lead to other chronic illnesses. So you don't want somebody that is really just stealing your unhappiness. Everybody deserves to be happy. Everybody deserves to be, in peace or in an environment where they are not walking on eggshells. And when you are with toxic people, you'll be walking on eggshells all the time. A critical person, a very judgmental person that judges you all the time, that criticizes you all the time, and sometimes they use criticism as jokes. They'll say, oh, it was just a joke. They make these deadly offensive jokes and call it a joke. Sarcasm, they use all this to criticize and to actually judge you. So imagine being around such a person. It is also important to really just look back into your childhood, or look at your childhood experiences and recognize what might have put you in a position where you are actually a target for toxic people. A friend of mine told me once how growing up as a child, she was tasked with responsibilities of adults. Like growing up, she was the firstborn, so she had to do everything for her siblings. She had to babysit her siblings. She had to stay with her siblings when her parents were not around. She was just young at the age of 10, 9. So she had to take up responsibilities of the adults. And then growing up, when she became older, she had to take care of her sick parents, her sick grandma, and her sick parents. So all these responsibilities can make someone feel like it is their responsibility to take care of everybody. So carrying that kind of trauma can expose you to toxic people, because you're used to taking care of everybody, especially firstborns. You're used to taking care of everybody, so you feel like it is your responsibility to take care of other people. So you're used to always putting yourself last and putting other people first. You feel like it's your responsibility all the time, and you don't see how that affects you until a certain time when you realize this is not right. That is if you ever realize that, because I'm sure there are some people, as we speak right now, I'm sure there's some people who are actually going through the same thing, where they always put themselves last, and because they have accepted and they feel like it's a normal thing to do, they don't see anything wrong with them, but they don't also see how it's taking a toll on their lives. So this is probably how you learned to survive growing up, that you always have to do things for other people. Another thing is, if you are the kind of person that feels pity or feels guilty when you don't do things for other people, even when you can't, like you feel so bad. If you cannot, you cannot, or you feel pity. Toxic people are very, like I said, they're very manipulative. So in other words, they act like victims. They'll be going around sad because you reacted to what they did to you. So you might feel pity, you might feel guilty and be like, maybe I shouldn't have said this, maybe I shouldn't have done this, even when all you were doing was really just standing up for yourself or protecting yourself. So you feel guilty. For those that are in abusive relationships, people that are being physically abused, there's some women in most cultures that would feel like, maybe if I didn't do this, maybe he wouldn't have, done this to me. So you become that kind of person that feels guilty. You will pity him or you will pity her. You feel pity for her. There are some women that are also very manipulative, especially women. Like they will make you feel so guilty to an extent that you end up just saying yes to them for everything. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe I shouldn't have, maybe I should have given her this money that she was asking for, Even if it was your last as a man, especially women that are so dependent on men for everything. So maybe she wanted this kind of car that everybody is having. Women like trends. And then you said no. And now she's all sad. She feels like, it's as if you've done something big and now you are there feeling pity, feeling guilty, and you feel like, oh, maybe I should just go and get a loan and buy her this car and all that. That is them being manipulative. So what do you do then in this case? Now, if this is coming from some childhood trauma, you might need to seek help, because it's going to be so hard for you to really just create boundaries and say no and stand on your decision. It can be a struggle if it's coming from some childhood trauma, but you can start small. You can start small by saying no. Always remind yourself it is not your fault that these people are toxic. It's not your fault that they can't see their own demons. So remind yourself of that all the time. If you feel pity, if you feel guilty, always remind yourself of that. You need to create healthy boundaries where you can tell them, I love you, mom. I love you, my sister, but I can't fix your problem. I can't help you with this. I can't always do this all the time. Because there are certain relatives that would be expecting you to always just be doing things for them. Always. And they make you feel bad if you don't do it. Stand on your ground and say, I'm not going to do it this time. So create boundaries. Be assertive. Create those healthy boundaries without, hurting people. Be honest. You're an honest person, by the way. That's why they are attracted to you. So be honest and tell them, I cannot. Without feeling guilty, without feeling bad. I cannot do this thing for you. I cannot continue to do this thing for you. You have to do it for yourself. And then, of course, if that is hard for you, if you're struggling to do that, then you can seek help. Therapy does help. Go to a therapist, and they can help. They can help guide you into finding yourself and standing up for yourself, as well as creating healthy boundaries that do not take a toll on you. Creating boundaries that can help you put yourself first. Do something for yourself before you can do something for others as well. Or simply but just try to be selfish, not in a bad way, but be selfish with yourself. Be selfish with what you have got it. Make sure you don't lose yourself trying to protect somebody. Make sure you don't lose yourself trying to care for somebody that can't, that's so ungrateful, or that can't even, take care of themselves. Okay, so guys, what are your experiences with toxic people? Put it in the comment section down below. Let's discuss. Let's talk about this. My name is Ceci K. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.